Good morning, everybody. Today we are looking at how to boil an egg with the #1 food fairy, Rita Smith. We're going to do some positively inspired cooking here, and I'm going to start off by talking a bit about the temperature at which you cook eggs and then cool them, because it's the contrast between the two that will determine whether or not the shell slips easily off your egg and everything, it looks beautiful and perfect, or whether you're there all day trying to chisel the egg out of the shell, which it's stuck to because the water wasn't hot enough or the cooling wasn't cold enough. So to get us started, I've got some eggs here. I am using my pasta cooker. I find my pasta cooker to be just a perfect tool for doing quite a few eggs at a time. Obviously, if you were doing 1 or 2 eggs for breakfast, you wouldn't go to this much trouble. But if you're doing a dozen at a time, or you're getting ready to dye eggs for Easter, you're making a large egg salad or a queen salad or a duchess salad, and you want quite a few eggs, then I like to use the pasta cooker, and the principle applies. Because what is going to happen whether you're cooking 2 eggs or 12 is that you want to move the cooked eggs as fast as possible from the boiling hot water over to here, which 10 minutes from now, in the magic of video, I'll make it shorter, will be ice water, okay? So the eggs themselves are at room temperature. I know that nobody keeps eggs at room temperature in 2014, and to plan ahead to take them out and make them room temperature is kind of a lot to ask, so that's not always possible. But if you know you're going to be cooking a dozen eggs, you come home from the grocery store, whatever, just don't put them in the fridge. Leave them out. Leave them at room temperature. And the reason for that is if the eggs are cold out of the fridge and then you plunge them into boiling water, 1 or 2 or more of them are going to crack. And then you'll get egg floating all around the water. The egg shells will no longer be intact, so they're not as safe. Bacteria can get in. You can't store them as long. Take them to work in your briefcase or whatever. And if you're dyeing them, it's a disaster because the dye leaks into the egg and you can't really eat it. And so if you can keep your eggs at room temperature and then plunge them in a strainer like this into boiling water, that's the ideal. That's the ideal circumstance. And they will cook nicely. I've set the buzzer. You might have noticed me doing that. I'm going to show you how to do both a 4-minute egg and a 10-minute egg. So when the buzzer goes off at the 4 minutes, I'll take out 2 eggs and show you what those look like at the 4-minute mark. The rest of them, we'll let them cook for the full 10 minutes in the boiling water before we plunge them into the cold water. So we'll let those cook for a bit and come back at the 4-minute mark. Okay, there's the buzzer telling me that 4 minutes have passed. I'm going to reset it for 6 minutes for my 10-minute eggs. There we go. And for the 4-minute eggs, otherwise known as soft-boiled eggs, I'm going to pull them out now. None of my eggs have broken, which is very nice. Very nice. Makes the pan easier to work with and the eggs prettier. Okay, and I'm transferring them to the cold water. In fact, I could use a little bit more cold water in there. There we go. That'll cover the eggs. And this is important, I'll tell you why. The whole secret to having eggs not stick to the shell is the difference in temperature between when they come out of the boiling hot water and get plunged into the ice cold water. That causes the egg to contract and pull away from the shell, so that in a few moments when we crack the 4-minute egg and peel it out of the shell, it'll slide out easily. And if you're cooking these for company and you're providing breakfast for your guests, you don't want them to have to wrestle with their eggs. You don't want to have to do that either. So in a minute I will take the eggs which went from the boiling hot water into the icy cold water, and we'll crack them open and see what a 4-minute egg looks like versus what a 10-minute egg looks like. So I'll just give that a couple of more seconds to chill in the ice cold water, and then we'll pull it out, and that'll be our 4-minute egg. Okay, we're just a few seconds away from being able to take the eggs out of the boiling hot water and put them into the cold water. One of the things that I did want to point out is that if you're boiling eggs and nobody's taught you to do it properly before, that a person who'd never been trained or hadn't read anything in a cookbook or online might think that boiling an egg means that you put water and an egg in a pan and you boil it. If you do that, your egg will stick all over the shell. You'll never get it out. There's our 10-minute timer. You don't put an egg in the water and then bring the water to a boil. You boil the water and then put the egg in. Whether you're using a strainer or whether you're just putting the egg into the water needs to be at a rolling boil when you put the egg in. And it's far less likely to crack if the egg is at room temperature. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the strainer basket of my pasta cooker, in which the eggs have cooked for precisely 10 minutes, and I'm going to plunge it into very cold water. And I'll put in the rest of those ice cubes to actually bring that water, make that water as cold as it's possible to make it quickly. And the eggs are now chilling rapidly in the cold water over there. Don't panic. They won't be too cold to serve. They're barely cool enough to eat. Putting the eggs in very cold water basically simply stops them from cooking. Okay, so what we've managed to do here is halt the cooking process, and we are providing the eggs with the change in temperature that they need to pull away from the shell, so that when you go to peel them, the shell will slide off easily as opposed to sticking to the eggs. So what we're doing now is we're going to chill those eggs, for a minute or 2 minutes or a couple. If you're only making 2 eggs for breakfast in the morning, just have boiling hot water when you put your eggs in and a bowl of cold to toss them into when you fish them out of the boiling hot. And that's the same thing as going through the whole pasta cooker ice cubes procedure. The point is room temperature eggs, if at all possible, into boiling hot water, rolling boil water, and then quickly into cold water. That will allow the shells to slip off easily. So let's let those sit for 1 second and then come back, and I'll show you the difference between a 4-minute egg and a 10-minute egg. Okay, welcome back. The 10-minute eggs have finished cooking and briefly chilling, maybe 2-3 minutes in the icy cold water. These are our 4-minute eggs, which I also chilled. So what I'm going to do here is just show you the difference between a 4-minute egg and a 10-minute egg. And remember again that the reason we went through all the trouble of going through the boiling hot water to the icy cold water is to pull the egg away from the shell so that it doesn't stick to the shell, and what you end up with is a perfect soft yolk, runny, soft-boiled egg. And that is, there we go. That is some people's ideal of an egg. Other people don't like the soft, runny part. But the point is that you realize by cooking at either a 3-minute egg or 4-minute egg, and then taking that out of the boiling water and plunging it into the very cold water, you can provide either your family or your guests or yourself or whomever you're cooking with a very nice, soft inside egg that they can dip their toast into. And that's, like, for some people, that's the best part of the day, breakfast in the morning. If that's how your family or your guests like their eggs, 3 minutes is bouncy in my opinion. I find it too soft. 4 minutes is perfect, but that's a 4-minute egg compared to what we're going to see now, which is a 10-minute egg. Okay, so here comes a 10-minute egg. A 10-minute egg is perfect for Easter eggs. So if you're dyeing Easter eggs, remember that if you cook your Easter eggs in an aluminum pan, the dye will not set. So you need to use stainless steel if you're cooking for Easter eggs, boiling for Easter eggs. This is a 10-minute egg. See how easily the peel came off, and we lost none of the egg in doing that. So here is our egg. Ta-da! A perfect 10-minute egg. I'm actually thinking that I may need to make a Duchess salad today, or a queen salad. That's the kind of Russian, Eastern European salad that contains pickles and eggs and peppers and onions and sausage or ham and mayonnaise. It's not like what most Westerners would think of as a salad, but it is delicious. It's maybe more of a side dish, but between the protein and the ham, it's got a lot of, the ham and the egg rather, it's got a lot of protein, and it's good. It's a great way for hard-boiled eggs to be put to use. And then the other way for perfectly boiled, ta-da, perfectly boiled 10-minute eggs to be put to use is that you take them to work with you in your briefcase or your lunchbox or whatever, your backpack, whatever it is that you're carrying. You chill them. You can peel them at home and put them in a Ziploc, or you can peel them at work and throw the peels away. You always want to have salt and pepper handy because I don't think too many people enjoy eggs without at least a little bit of salt and some pepper. So if you're peeling them, you're packing them in the shell. You want to make sure you've got access to some salt and pepper, some ketchup or salsa or whatever you put on the eggs. But here you go. You can put that into a bag and carry it in your backpack or your briefcase. Eat it in a meeting that's going longer than you thought it was going to go. When everybody else is reaching for a chocolate cookie, chocolate chunk, chocolate chip. Oh my God, some of the chocolate cookies I've seen in meetings, they'd kill you. People are eating that, and then a half of an hour later they're nodding off. If instead you have on you a couple of hard-boiled eggs, that'll get you through an hour or two of a work day. They're great at lunch. They're great in salads. They're great in egg salad on sandwiches. Kids like them, especially with ketchup. Don't be afraid of ketchup. If your kids won't eat eggs with any other way except with ketchup, give them the ketchup, for God's sake. So there you go. We have a 4-minute egg and we have a 10-minute egg. And no matter how you slice it or peel it, they're nutritious, they're low calorie, there's a little bit of fat considering that there is cholesterol in the yolk. Some people eat only the whites. But, you know, ounce for ounce, eggs compared to just about any other substance you can put in your body are a good substance. And everybody, I think, could eat a few more of them, especially in place of a high-fat, high-sugar granola bar or a high-fat, high-sugar chocolate bar or a can of pop. A hard-boiled egg is a great thing to have on hand when you're hungry and don't have time to cook. They'll keep and get you through the day. So good luck with your eggs. Remember, room temperature eggs into rapidly boiling water, straight from the water into the coldest water you can manage, and then the peel will just fall right off. Good luck. Be confident. Have fun cooking. Eggs are cheap. Eat lots.